look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spend. Take another look now and take some time for hemp. I don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Whoa, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, right now it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leach. On the program today, we're going to be talking about protein powder, hemp protein powder, as a matter of fact, because after all, hemp is our favorite topic. And I'm going to be chatting about that with Time for Hemp's newest correspondents, Bud Stoner and Anita Morhai. They'll be joining us here later in the program for that chat. And we're going to be adding music to the broadcast today from a group called The Illusions. The Illusions is a group that I've put together here at the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network, and it consists of some really talented people. Again, our correspondents from Time for Hemp, Bud Stoner and Anita Morhai, are part of that group. Their vocals are stunning. And also part of the group is Harry Johnson and Mike Hunt. So it's a group of 4 voices that are just out of this world. And we have musical arrangements by Albie Inman. And Albie has a way of making music sound new and fresh and vibrant. And of course, every song is going to be focused on our most favorite plant. So I do not want to take too much time to just chat and say hello, but I do want you to know that if you go to timeforhemp.news and check out all the blogs in the Time for Hemp News and Views blog post, at the bottom of every blog, you'll find a free music download that you can share with your friends, download into your phones, into your computers, and enjoy as you hurry through your day. Also, any song that you hear on today's broadcast, you can find for free to download at the timeforhemp.news website. All you need to do is to find a blog post that has the same title as this MP3, and you go to that blog post and you'll find that the songs have been made available to the whole world because we want everybody to enjoy this music. So, let's kick off the program with a song called A Toke in Time. And when we come back, we're going to have a nice conversation with Bud Stoner and Anita Morhai about hemp protein here at Time for Hemp.
Since ancient days in fields so wide, hemp grew strong, a gift with pride. Fed the hungry, clothed the poor, built the sails that reached new shores. Pages were pressed from its sturdy grain, light in the minds of kings and sages reign. Fuel for the fire, ropes for the sea, nature's gift to set us free. Take a toke in time, breathe it in real slow. Feel the wisdom rise, let the knowledge flow. From the roots to the sky, it's always been divine. A sacred leaf, a guiding sign. Rich and pure, healing hearts with a cure so sure. Omega strong, a perfect feast, feeding the body, man and beast. Pressed into oils, spun into thread, from crown to soul it kept us fed. medicine, shelter, a peaceful way, a plant of light to end the gray. Take a token time, breathe it in real slow, feel the wisdom rise, let the knowledge flow. From the roots to the sky, it's always been divine. A sacred leaf, a guiding sign, oh yeah. Lifted souls through smoke and song, a gentle whisper, a love so strong. Open minds and soothe the pain, kept the spirit whole again. Though time may change, the truth remains. Nature's gift flows through our veins. From past to future, leaf in hand, a token time across the land. Take a token time, breathe it in real slow, feel the wisdom rise, let the knowledge flow. From the roots to the sky, it's always been divine. A sacred leaf, a guiding sign.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leach. On the program today, we're going to be talking about hemp protein powder. It's amazing how the global market of hemp protein powder is growing. This was brought to my attention by one of the newer correspondents here at the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network, Anita Morhai, and Anita will be joining us today in this conversation along with Bud Stoner, who's also a new correspondent here on the Big Broadcasting Network. And Anita came across a really interesting press release here recently about this growing market. And Anita, why don't you share that with us?
Well, this press release we've got, it's from Future Market Insights. They're a market research company, and it really caught my eye. Get this, they're projecting that this whole global hemp protein market is going to hit like over $1 billion by 2035.
Wow, that's a huge number.
It's massive. And the crazy thing is, they're saying it's going to grow like 10.4% every single year. That's the projected growth rate.
Yeah, that's not just like a little health food trend anymore. I mean, this is going mainstream.
Totally. It's like hemp proteins breaking out of the, like, you know, the little health food aisle and just charging right into the big leagues.
Right.
And what's even more interesting is where this growth is happening. Like they're saying India, Italy, the UK, the USA, and Germany, those are leading the pack.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Bud, what do you think is leading the industry?
Well, I think it's definitely more nuanced than just like a vegan revolution or something, although that's definitely a part of it.
Right.
I think what's really happening is these countries are really embracing, you know, a more proactive approach to health and wellness.
Yeah.
And people are actively seeking out ways to just boost their well-being and, you know, hemp protein with its complete protein profile and, you know, all of those nutrients, it just kind of fits perfectly into that mindset.
Totally. And, you know, the press release, it also talks about how eco-friendly hemp is. Like it uses less water, fewer pesticides compared to a lot of other crops. So I'm curious, do you think that's a big selling point for people, or are they mostly focused on, like, you know, the taste and the nutritional stuff?
I think, you know, while taste and nutrition, those are always going to be big factors. There's definitely a growing awareness of sustainability, especially among younger generations.
Yeah.
They're making choices based on, you know, the environmental impact and hemp proteins, green credentials.
Yeah.
They definitely resonate with them.
It's like this trifecta, health, ethical considerations, environmental consciousness, and they're all kind of like converging together to create this demand for, plant-based options like hemp protein.
It's really interesting in seeing all these trends come together in reshaping the food landscape. So let's get into the real nitty gritty here, as they used to say back in the 60s, get right down to the real nitty gritty. But anyway, why don't we get into the real nitty gritty? It's what makes hemp protein powder so successful, so amazing.
So this press release, it boasts this whole laundry list of benefits, right? They're talking about complete protein, essential amino acids, fiber, omega fatty acids, high digestibility, and get this, it's even allergen friendly. So is this stuff really the nutritional powerhouse it claims to be?
It's definitely packed with nutrients. Like hemp protein does have all 9 essential amino acids, so that makes it a complete protein, which is pretty rare for plant-based sources. Wow. And it doesn't stop there. It's also a good source of fiber, which, keeps your gut happy. And it's got omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Those are essential for heart and brain health.
Yeah.
And yes, it's known for being easy to digest, and it's gentle on people with allergies.
Okay. Color me impressed. It really does sound like a superfood protein powder.
It really is a good option.
But, I'm curious, does all hemp protein powder kind of measure up? Is there anything consumers should look out for when they're picking a brand?
Oh, that's a great question. And yeah, you're right. Not all hemp protein powders are created equal.
Right.
Some things to think about are where they source their hemp from, the processing methods, and if they've got any additives or fillers in there.
Okay, so the ingredients, basically.
Yeah. Look for brands that prioritize organic and sustainable farming practices, ones that use minimal processing so they keep all the nutrients, and that avoid those unnecessary additives.
Right. So you really got to do your research. You got to look beyond those, flashy marketing claims.
Exactly.
The press release also mentions that there are, innovations in flavors and formulations. What are some of the interesting trends you're seeing in that area?
Oh, the industry's getting really creative.
Yeah.
They're moving beyond that basic earthy flavor.
Yeah.
And they're experimenting with chocolate, vanilla, berries, even coffee.
Oh, wow.
This is key because, let's be honest, nobody wants to choke down a bland, chalky protein shake.
Exactly. I'm all for healthy, but it's got to taste good.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any other major developments in the field of hemp protein formulation?
We're also seeing a rise in these protein blends. So they combine hemp with other plant-based sources like pea protein or brown rice protein.
Okay.
And this creates a more diverse amino acid profile.
Uh-huh.
And it can also make the texture and taste better.
So it's all about finding that balance, the perfect balance between nutrition and taste. So it's not just about, throwing hemp protein into a smoothie anymore. It seems like there are endless possibilities.
Yeah.
But speaking of smoothies, what else can you do with this stuff?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Hemp protein is becoming super versatile.
Okay.
It's being used in functional beverages, dietary supplements, even in pharmaceuticals and the personal care industry.
Hold on. Pharmaceuticals and personal care. That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
What are some examples of those applications?
So, with all those nutrients, hemp protein is, finding its way into medical nutrition products.
Okay.
Especially for people with dietary restrictions or, people who have trouble absorbing nutrients.
Right, yeah.
So think specialized protein powders or meal replacements designed for people recovering from surgery or managing certain illnesses, things like that.
So it's really targeted for specific needs. Okay, I'm starting to see how versatile it really is, but what about personal care products? How does hemp protein fit into that?
Well, hemp protein's got all these amino acids that are really good for your hair and skin.
Oh, okay.
And it's a natural moisturizer. So this makes it a great ingredient for shampoos, conditioners, lotions, even soaps. It's known to strengthen hair, hydrate skin, and, improve elasticity.
Wow, this is really eye-opening. I had no idea hemp protein had so many uses. I'm guessing it's also making waves in the sports nutrition world, too.
You bet. Athletes and fitness enthusiasts are catching on to the benefits of hemp protein for muscle recovery and growth. And unlike whey protein, which digests really quickly, hemp protein gives you a slower, sustained release of energy, so it's perfect for endurance activities.
So it's not just about, bulking up. It's about fueling your body for, peak performance.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And because it's plant-based, it aligns with the dietary choices of a lot of athletes who are moving away from animal products.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a good fit.
This press release, it mentions some big names in the market. Manitoba Harvest, Nutiva, Navitas Organics, and Bob's Red Mill.
Mm-hmm.
Are those like the heavy hitters in the hemp protein world? Or are there other brands out there making a name for themselves?
Those are definitely some of the big established brands in the industry.
Yeah.
But, the hemp protein market, it's still pretty young and it's dynamic. So we are seeing a lot of smaller companies popping up with their own, innovative products and strategies.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a bit of a David and Goliath situation going on.
Kinda, yeah.
What are these smaller companies doing to stand out in such a competitive landscape?
A lot of them are focusing on specific niches, catering to particular dietary needs or lifestyle preferences. For example, you might have brands specializing in organic or raw hemp protein powder, to appeal to consumers who are really into those qualities.
Others might focus on unique flavor profiles or protein blends specifically for athletes or people with allergies.
So it's like they're finding their lane and just excelling in it.
Right, exactly.
That's a smart move in a market that's becoming more and more crowded.
Yeah, it's all about differentiating yourself and providing those choices that the bigger brands might not offer.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful so far. I'm already blown away by how much there is to learn about hemp protein.
It's a fascinating market to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive deeper into this competitive landscape and uncover what the future holds for this booming industry.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where things go from here.
For sure, for sure.
Anita and Bud, you are right. It is time for a break. I didn't realize how quickly time was going by. This has been such an interesting conversation. We're going to stop and listen to some groovy music that the Illusions have put together for the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting audience. The song is called Green Embrace. And again, if you like it, you can find it at the timeforhemp.news website and download it for free. Please like and share this particular broadcast so that together we can raise the voice of our broadcast as we set forward to let the whole world know how important it is to take time for hemp.
Hemp is a gift to all mankind. It's good for both body and mind. No toxic waste, no poison ground. In hemp a true solution's found. A crop so kind, or pure so wise, the gift of nature legalize. In every way on you we depend. Because of you our lives extend. From textile soft to biofuels, you lead the way, you break the rules. With every fiber you help us soar, creating futures we can't ignore. And not just green, your goal it's true. In a world of chaos we lean on you. Almighty hemp, so strong and true. With endless gifts in all you do. From sturdy rope to healing bone, you bring the world a gentle calm. Your stalks can build, your seeds can feed. A plant of peace, a vital seed. You cleanse the earth, you heal the air. A green embrace beyond compare. For clothes and paper, fuel and more, you've served mankind since days of yore. Yet laws once bound your noble grace. Now freedom calls, reclaim your place. So rise again, stand tall and free. A future bright for all to see. With hemp we thrive, with hemp we grow. A greener world begins to show. In every way on hemp we depend. When we use hemp, Our lives extend from textile soft to biofuels. Hemp leads the way, hemp break the rules. Your healing touch soothes pain and strife, restoring hope, renewing life. From anxious minds to weary souls, you mend the cracks, you make us whole. The farmers cheer, the makers craft a brighter path, a greener draft. With every seed that finds the land, we break the chains with open hands. Almighty hemp, your time is near. The winds of change are strong and clear. No more shall greed suppress your worth, for hemp shall heal and bless the earth. No toxic waste or poison brown, in hemp that true solutions found. A crop so kind, so pure, so wise, a gift of nature legalized. Hemp is a gift to all mankind. It's good for both body and mind.
Welcome back to the big broadcast, and thank you for tuning in. If we didn't have an audience as amazing as you, we'd have no reason to do these programs about this amazing plant. And I really hope you enjoyed the music that you were listening to. It is by the group The Illusions, a group that I put together here at Time for Hemp, and Anita and Bud are singers in that group. And any song that you happen to hear on the big broadcast, you can download for free when you go to timeforhemp.news and find this particular broadcast in our blogs. So, Anita, what were we talking about before we took Time for Hemp music?
Before the break, we were talking about how these smaller hemp protein companies are, finding their little niche in the market. They're getting super specific with their products, focusing on these very particular needs and preferences.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see how they're tapping into trends that the bigger companies, might not be as quick to address.
Right.
And we're also seeing a lot of innovation in terms of sustainability.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some of these smaller brands are, going above and beyond just sourcing organic hemp.
Okay.
They're doing things like zero waste packaging, even carbon neutral shipping.
It's like they're not just selling a product, they're really making a statement about what they value.
Exactly.
And that seems to be resonating with a lot of people, especially those who are, passionate about ethical and environmentally conscious choices.
Definitely.
So I'm curious, do you think these smaller brands are actually making a dent in the market share of the big players?
It's definitely a dynamic situation,
Yeah.
Consumers are more open to trying new brands, particularly ones that, align with their values or offer something unique.
Right.
And I think the rise of online retailers and direct-to-consumer models, it's really leveled the playing field for smaller brands.
So it's not just about battling for that shelf space at the supermarket anymore.
Right.
It's about connecting with consumers online.
Exactly.
Building that loyal following.
And we can't overlook how social media and influence marketing are playing a big role in this as well.
Oh, absolutely. Smaller brands can use those platforms to, create a more personal connection.
Yeah.
More authentic connection with their audience.
Right.
They can tell their story, showcase their values, and build trust in a way that, the bigger, more corporate brands have a harder time doing.
So the smaller companies are nimble and innovative?
Right.
But what about the big guys? Are they just sitting back and watching all this happen?
I don't think so.
Or are they adapting to these new trends and challenges?
I think the major players, they're definitely not standing still.
Okay.
They're also innovating. They're expanding their product lines to keep up with, what consumers want.
Right.
We're seeing acquisitions of smaller brands.
Oh, wow.
Investments in research and development. The launch of new products that focus on sustainability, unique flavors, added functional benefits, all that kind of stuff.
It sounds like a constant game of chess almost.
Yeah, kind of.
with both big and small players, making their moves to like capture the attention of consumers.
Definitely.
So with all this activity, all this innovation, what do you think the future holds for the hemp protein powder market?
Yeah.
Is this billion-dollar valuation, is that realistic or is it just hype?
I think the potential for growth is definitely there.
Okay.
I mean, there's several factors that suggest this upward trend is going to continue.
Like what?
Well, first, you've got the rising awareness of plant-based options.
Right.
And hemp protein is, perfectly positioned to capitalize on that.
Totally.
Second, the health and wellness industry, it's booming.
Yeah, it is.
With people actively looking for ways to improve their diet and just their well-being overall. And hemp protein, with all its nutrients, it just fits right in.
So it's like hemp protein's hitting the market at like the perfect time almost.
Yeah, it really...
Meeting a need that's only going to grow.
Right.
What else is fueling this growth, do you think?
Well, sustainability is huge.
Yeah, that's true.
As consumers become more aware of their environmental impact, they're looking for food choices that, align with their values.
Right.
And hemp, as a crop, it just requires less water, fewer pesticides than a lot of other protein sources.
So it's a win-win
Yeah.
for the consumer and the environment.
Exactly.
What about the legal side of things?
Right.
Is the regulatory landscape like evolving in a way that supports the growth of the hemp industry?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Regulations surrounding hemp cultivation and processing, they're becoming more favorable in a lot of parts of the world. And that's removing barriers for businesses, allowing them to, operate and expand more easily,
Right, yeah.
which, further fuels market growth.
So we've got increasing demand from consumers. We've got a booming health and wellness industry, a growing focus on sustainability, and a regulatory environment that's, becoming more supportive.
Right.
It seems like a recipe for success.
Yeah.
But are there any potential like roadblocks or challenges that you think could hinder the growth of the hemp protein powder market?
Of course. I mean, no market is without its challenges.
Sure.
One obstacle is the price point.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hemp protein powder does tend to be more expensive than some other protein sources like whey or soy.
But this is a valid point. Price is always a consideration for people,
Yeah, right.
especially when there are, cheaper alternatives out there.
Yeah.
What other challenges do you see maybe on the horizon?
Another challenge is just, the need for continued education and awareness.
Oh, interesting.
There's still some misconceptions about hemp and its connection to marijuana.
Yeah. You know,
And some people might be hesitant to even try hemp products just because of that misconception.
That's a really important distinction to make.
yeah,
Hemp and marijuana they're different varieties of the cannabis plant.
right.
And hemp-derived products, they contain very low levels of THC, the psychoactive compound in marijuana.
Exactly.
So it's not about getting a high. It's about,
Right.
getting healthy.
Exactly. So it's crucial for companies and, industry advocates to keep educating consumers,
Yeah.
emphasizing the safety and the benefits of hemp protein and, separating it from those misconceptions.
Transparency and clear communication are key to overcoming those hurdles for sure.
Definitely.
But what about like competition from other plant-based protein sources?
Yeah.
Pea protein, soy protein, brown rice protein. There are so many options out there vying for people's attention.
That's true. The plant-based protein market is getting pretty crowded.
So for hemp protein to really stay ahead of the curve, they've got to keep innovating. They've got to differentiate, developing new and improved formulations, exploring those exciting flavor profiles,
Right.
showcasing the sustainability advantages, that kind of thing.
So it's not enough to just like ride the wave of plant-based popularity.
Right.
Companies really have to like constantly evolve and adapt
They do.
to stay relevant and appealing.
Yeah.
Ben, what about research and development? Are there any interesting events happening on the horizon for hemp protein?
Definitely. Research is ongoing to, really uncover the full potential of hemp protein
Okay.
and all its different components. Scientists are investigating its impact on muscle recovery, cardiovascular health, immune function.
Wow.
These findings could lead to even more targeted and effective hemp-based products.
So it's not just about the protein itself. It's about like unlocking the full potential of this plant
Right.
and all its amazing benefits. That's pretty exciting.
It is. We're also seeing innovation in processing techniques.
Oh, okay.
So companies are developing new methods to, improve the flavor, the texture, the solubility of hemp protein powder. making it more versatile and just more enjoyable to consume.
So it's all about making it like easier and more appealing for people to, incorporate into their daily lives.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond the traditional protein shake and exploring the culinary possibilities.
Oh, like what?
Well, we're seeing it being used in everything from baked goods and snacks to pasta, even plant-based meat alternatives.
So it's come a long way from being like a niche health food.
It really has.
It sounds like the future of hemp protein is pretty bright,
I think so.
with all these opportunities for innovation and growth.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and it's not just about, hemp protein in isolation.
Right.
It's about how it fits into this larger movement towards like sustainable food systems. How our food choices impact our health and the environment.
Exactly. That's what makes it so dynamic and exciting.
Yeah.
It's not just about selling a product. It's about, being part of something bigger.
Being part of a movement.
Yeah, a movement toward a healthier, more sustainable future.
Well, that wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into the fascinating world of hemp protein powder.
Yeah.
Join us for part 3, where we'll explore, the ethical and environmental considerations surrounding this whole industry.
Okay.
And what it all means for you, the consumer.
Golly, is it time for a break already? When you're having fun, you don't notice how quickly time goes by. And this conversation has been a joy. Anita, Bud, I'm grateful that you've been nice enough to become part of the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Your work as correspondents and, of course, in the world of music is stellar. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take a musical break. We're going to be listening to a song called Green Highway here at Time for Hemp.
In the fields where the green highways lie, hemp grows tall, a natural high. Cannabis for medicine, so pure and bright, filling hearts with joy day by day. From seeds to soil, a journey so grand, nature's gifts, a world to expand. Food from the earth, health in our veins, smoking makes us feel like we've gained. Green highways lead to freedom. Cannabis for medicine, no need to worry. Joyful smoke, a natural remedy. Liberation in every city. Through the clouds, we find our way. With every breath, we're okay. No more pain, just pure delight. In this world of endless light. In the heart of the green highway lane, we find peace, a brand new stance. Cannabis for health, a new dawn, making dreams come true. One puff at a time, from the fields where the hemp grows to the skies where we soar. With every high, we let go of worries, of sorrow. Green highways lead to freedom. Cannabis for medicine, no need to worry. Joyful smoke, a natural remedy. Liberation in every city.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leach. You were listening to the Illusions here on the Big Broadcasting Network. And keep in mind, if you happen to like the music that you hear on today's program, you can go to timeforhemp.news and download the music for free. If you go to timeforhemp.news and check out the News and Views blog, you'll find at the bottom of every blog post is a free MP3 cannabis music download that you can put into your computer, put into your smartphone, share with your friends, and enjoy while you're on the go. And if you look for a blog post under this title, any music that you find in this program that you happen to enjoy, you can also download it for free. I should also remind you that The Illusions is an interesting musical group that I've put together here at the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. And our correspondents here at Time for Hemp who are joining me in this chat, Bud Stoner and Anita Morhai, are singers in that particular group. And I tell you, they bring a lot to the table when they come to work and let the whole world know how important it is to take time for hemp. And Anita, I want to thank you for bringing this press release and this topic to my attention and suggesting that we have a conversation about it on air to share with the audience. It has really been fascinating. There's been a lot to learn.
And, we've covered a lot, from the booming market to the nutritional benefits to the competition and the innovations driving this whole industry.
Right.
But now it's time to, step back and look at the bigger picture, the ethical and environmental stuff.
That's right. It's really important to think about, the whole journey of hemp protein, from how it's grown to how it's processed and packaged, all of it.
So where do we even begin to unpack the ethical side of things?
Well, I think a good place to start is with sourcing.
Okay.
Like with any agricultural product, it's super important to make sure that the hemp is being grown sustainably and ethically.
Right.
So that means fair labor practices, responsible land management, and, minimizing the environmental impact.
So it's not just about the final product. It's about, the people and the planet involved in every step of the way.
Exactly.
Are there any certifications or standards that consumers can look for to, know if it's ethically sourced?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look for things like fair trade, organic, and non-GMO.
Okay.
Those certifications show that the hemp has been grown and processed according to, these really strict standards that put social and environmental responsibility first.
So those certifications can really help people make informed choices and support the companies that are doing things the right way.
Right.
Now let's talk about the environmental impact of hemp protein. We've touched on this a bit, but let's dive in a little deeper.
Yeah, hemp is often called an environmentally friendly crop, and for good reason.
Yeah.
It needs way less water than a lot of other crops.
Okay.
And it's naturally resistant to pests.
Oh, wow.
So you don't need to use as many harmful pesticides.
So it's naturally resilient, doesn't need as much, human intervention to thrive.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's impressive.
And the environmental benefits go beyond just water and pesticides.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hemp actually helps improve soil health.
Okay.
Its roots, they go deep, and that prevents erosion, and then the plant matter that's left after harvesting, it goes back into the soil, putting all those good nutrients back in.
So it's not just about minimizing the negative stuff.
Right.
It's about actively helping the ecosystem.
Exactly.
That's a pretty powerful concept.
And here's another cool thing.
Yeah.
The hemp stalks, they're often just seen as a byproduct, but they can be used for all sorts of things.
Like what?
Building materials, textiles, biofuels. I mean, the possibilities are huge.
So it's a truly versatile and sustainable plant.
Right.
With minimal waste.
Exactly.
It sounds like hemp protein has the potential to really shake things up in the food and agriculture industries.
I think so. I completely agree.
Yeah.
By choosing hemp protein, consumers are not only making a healthy choice for themselves, but they're also, supporting a more sustainable and ethical food system.
Right.
It's about realizing that our health, our food choices, and the planet are all connected.
I'm amazed by how much potential hemp protein has.
It's pretty amazing.
Not just as a nutritional powerhouse, but as something that can really create positive change.
It's really inspiring to see how this ingredient that used to be so niche is now, gaining momentum and changing the way we think about food and sustainability.
Well, I feel like we've uncovered so much information.
Yeah, we have.
Exploring everything from the market to the ethical and environmental considerations.
It's been a really interesting journey.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired to explore the world of hemp protein now and see what it's all about.
That's great.
I'm with you, Anita. I feel like a hemp protein shake and maybe, I don't know, a hemp spleef and some more fantastic music. I want to thank the audience for tuning in today. We are thankful that you find our content of interest. We hope that you are going to share us with your friends and visit our website, timeforhemp.news, frequently. Don't forget, when you go there, you can find lots of free downloads, music downloads, audio downloads, a podcast, and there's even free newsletters that you can download, print out, or just pass around an email and share with your friends, all focused on the need to end hemp prohibition. Well, that's the end of today's broadcast. Don't forget, if you found a song in this broadcast that you like, you can download it for free at the timeforhemp.news website. And remember, the next time you hear me, you'll know that it's time for hemp.
Look at all that money, oh, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment.